Combining two separate 300 amp sources of power into a single junction box, often called a J-box, for distribution to two separate remote power panels is permissible by code, provided that certain requirements outlined in the National Electrical Code, or NEC, are strictly adhered to. Understanding these code requirements and following proper installation practices are essential for ensuring electrical safety and compliance. NEC Section 312.8b mandates that overcurrent protection must be provided for each ungrounded conductor at every supply source. This means each of the 300 amp power sources entering the junction box must have its own overcurrent protection device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, to protect the conductors from overloads and short circuits. The size and type of overcurrent protection should be appropriate for the ampacity of the conductors and the characteristics of the connected load. NEC Section 312.10a states that overcurrent protection for feeders must be provided in accordance with the requirements of NEC Article 210. Feeders are the conductors that carry power from the source to the remote power panels. Article 210 provides specific rules for the size and type of overcurrent protection required for feeders, depending on the application and the characteristics of the load. NEC Section 210.2 specifies that feeders shall be protected by overcurrent protective devices rated not greater than the allowable ampacity of the conductors. The ampacity of a conductor is its current carrying capacity, which is determined by factors such as the conductor's size, material, insulation type, and installation conditions. The overcurrent protection device must be sized to protect the conductors from overheating and potential damage. Several installation considerations are important when combining multiple power sources in a single J-box. Firstly, the J-box must be listed for the purpose and must be large enough to accommodate all wires, conductors, and connections safely. The size of the J-box should be determined based on the number and size of conductors, the size of the connectors, and the required pending space for the conductors. A properly sized J-box ensures that the conductors are not overcrowded, which can lead to overheating and insulation damage. Secondly, the J-box must be properly supported and anchored to prevent movement or damage to the electrical components inside. The J-box should be securely mounted to a stable surface, such as a wall or ceiling, using appropriate fasteners. This helps to prevent the J-box from being accidentally dislodged or damaged, which could create a safety hazard. Thirdly, all connections must be made in accordance with NEC requirements, including the use of appropriate connectors, terminals, and wire sizes. The NEC provides specific rules for making electrical connections, including the type of connectors and terminals that are allowed, the proper way to torque the connections, and the minimum wire size for each circuit. Following these rules helps to ensure that the connections are secure and reliable, and that they can carry the required current without overheating. Fourthly, the J-box must be accessible for maintenance and inspection. The J-box should be located in a place where it can be easily accessed for inspection and maintenance. This allows qualified personnel to inspect the connections, check for any signs of damage or overheating, and perform any necessary repairs. Accessibility is essential for ensuring the long-term reliability and safety of the electrical system. When distributing power to remote power panels, each remote power panel must have its own overcurrent protection, such as circuit breakers or fuses, sized appropriately for the connected loads. This ensures that each panel is protected from overloads and short circuits, and that the wiring between the J-box and the remote power panels is protected. The wiring between the J-box and the remote power panels must be rated for the current carrying capacity of the circuit. The wire size should be selected based on the ampacity of the circuit and the distance between the J-box and the remote power panels. Using undersized wire can lead to overheating, voltage drop, and potential fire hazards. It is highly recommended to use a qualified electrician to perform the installation and ensure compliance with all applicable codes and safety standards. Installing multiple power sources into a single J-box should only be done by experienced professionals who are familiar with the code requirements and proper installation techniques. A qualified electrician has the knowledge and experience to properly size the conductors, select the appropriate overcurrent protection devices, make secure connections, and ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and standards. Failing to follow these guidelines could result in serious safety hazards, including electrical shocks, fires, and equipment damage. Always consult with a qualified electrician and follow all applicable codes and standards to ensure a safe and reliable electrical installation. In summary, combining two 300 amp power sources into a single J-box for distribution to remote power panels is permissible under the NEC, provided that you adhere to specific code requirements and installation considerations. These include providing overcurrent protection for each power source and feeder, using a J-box listed for the purpose and of adequate size, ensuring proper support and anchoring, making connections according to NEC standards, and providing overcurrent protection at each remote power panel. Always prioritize safety and engage a qualified electrician for installations involving multiple power sources.